Hello everyone, I'm Brad Strickland with MC Media Solutions, and joining with me today is Mr. Darnell Jackson of Ampro Construction. Mr. Jackson, how are you doing today?
Great, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'd like to first of all thank you for taking time out of your schedule to sit down with MC Media Solutions and give us this interview. So I do understand that you are the founder and CEO of Ampro Construction, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So one of the first things I want to kind of ask you is that how did your business get started?
Okay. I actually got started when I was in high school. I had some trade classes. And during the trade classes, I fell in love with doing construction work, learning how to use my hands, along with the knowledge of knowing how I want something to look at the end. I began to do repairs on homes, office buildings, and things of that nature. So from that, I developed a love for construction.
Okay.
And I knew then that that is the area that I kind of wanted to go into.
Okay. So now that we're talking about you have your company going, and oftentimes when people look at businesses, they see the finished product of it. They see all the bells and whistles in place. And so my next question would be is what are some of the challenges you faced when you first started off with getting this off the ground?
I would have to say the biggest challenge was not having any money. So that made it kind of interesting because it takes money to run a business. So for me, I started small. I actually started by myself. I got me a truck. I got me some tools. I started out with friends and family saying, hey, did you need something around your home done? If they said yes, I said, hey, I'm your guy to do it for you. And once I did that, they liked the work. They was able to tell somebody else. Then somebody else tell someone else. But it was all hard work because she had to like it or he had to like it in order for them to tell someone else.
Right.
And then once they did that, it was a word of mouth. And the word of mouth then grew. As it got from word of mouth, everyone started getting me bigger projects to do. Then I was able to make the money, save the money, reinvest the money. And that was the hardest part because I had a family and had kids and had bills to pay.
Right.
But at the same time, I knew how to just take $1 and try to make $5 out of $1. And that's what I did to start the business.
Okay, and it's actually brings us to the next question I was going to present to you. You talked about advertising or getting your company out there. So you did mention that word of mouth was one way of getting your company out there. In today's age of technology, do you have any other methods that you use to advertise your company?
Yes, we are actually right now using, they call it the yellow pages, but it's not the old yellow pages anymore. It's actually now they have media print yellow pages where you can go on Google and look the company up. You can look on Facebook and find the company. So we do have other means of advertising. But for me, majority of my advertisement has still been word of mouth. Someone see what I'm doing, they tell someone else, and they tell someone else, and that's what's been working for us.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break now. When we come back with CEO and founder of Ampro Construction, we'll have more questions for you. Welcome back. We are here with Mr. Jackson from Ampro Construction. So we're going to go ahead and continue forward. And another question I want to pose to you is, now that you have your company going, and you explained to us how we've got to this point here, my next question would be is what sort of services do you guys offer? Because when I think of construction, I'm thinking of a guy, on the road with a hard hat on, chipping away on concrete with a sledgehammer. So please give us a little information on what you offer.
Yes. So what we do at Ampro Construction, we do roofing, we do weatherization, which is insulating homes. We do home repair, which falls under windows, doors, siding. We also provide repair service. If you have stairs that need to be repaired, or a front porch that needs some repair work done on it, we provide those services. We do complete home remodeling, basements, kitchens, bath. So we have a variety of services that we provide. We have 3 divisions in our company that can come out, do an inspection on your home, give you some consultation on what your home may need, and then we then provide those services based on what you're interested in having done.
Okay. So then I guess my next question would be is obviously it takes manpower to run all this stuff. You can't do it by yourself. So I guess the next question would be is what do you look for in an employee? If someone comes to you and says, I have this many skills, I can do this, I can do that. What catches your eye about them?
Well, that's the most exciting part of the company for me because I built my company on being able to take a young man who wants to learn and teach them so that they can then decide whether they want to stay with me or whether they want to go ahead on and venture out and do their thing. For instance, I have an electrician. The young man came to me right out of high school. He worked for me for 13 years. While he was working for me for 13 years, he was gaining his experience as an electrician. Mm-hmm. So I suggested to him, after being there for 4 or 5 years, one of the things you have to do is get a certification in what you're doing. And so he says, well, I want more than a certification. I want my license as an electrician. I said, then let's go. So I paid for his tuition for him to go to his school for his first 2 years. After he went for his first 2 years and successfully passed it, then he came back and did 4 years of apprentice with me. And then he was able to go to the state of Michigan and take his test. Wow. In return, all I asked him to do is to work with me for 2 years at the call when I call you. And he said that would be no problem. And that's the kind of contract I got. But to answer that question even more, I started out, as I told you, with 1 individual. Then I went to 2. And then I was up to as high as 32 employees at one time. And then with 32 employees, we had a training division where we would take young men out of high school, train them to trade. You can go into electrical, plumbing, roofing, insulation, whatever one that you feel the most comfortable with doing. This is when my, I could say, clients came and played a very important part. Because when we go out to the home, we explain to the client that we were willing to give you a discount for you to allow us to use your home to train this young man to do this work. And they loved it. $50,000 job and they getting it for $20,000. Oh my God. So they had no problem with letting us do it. So during that time, and we've been in business for 32 years. So during that time, I trained, I would say, every bit of 30 to 40 young men to do this trade.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you got a pretty sweet operation going on there.
Yes, sir.
So now you mentioned clients. Have you ever turned down a client? I'm pretty sure you get people, oh, can you do this job for me? Can you do that job for me? Can I get this discount or that discount? And I'm sure someone's coming to you and say, oh, I want a 75% discount. You're like, what? So
yes, we had to turn down some clients.
Okay.
We had to turn them down for various reasons. Some homes, some clients. You can't just work with everybody. So there's cases where you have to turn down clients.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to take another short break, and we come back, we'll wrap things up with Mr. Jackson from Ampro Construction. So we're back once again with Mr. Jackson, CEO and founder of Ampro Construction. And to wrap up this interview, I have a final question for you. Where do you see your company in, say, 20 years?
Well, I see my company expanding into a training facility. I've worked with my son, who has grown up in the company. My daughter has grown up in the company. And in a conversation, we was thinking, what is the one thing that is missing in the trade? And we all agreed, good training. And so we came to the conclusion that at some point, we would like to see us go from being a profitable company, which we have been, to maybe becoming a more of a training company, where we can train young men and women to be in the trade industry.
Wow. Well, I think that's about all the time we have here today. Mr. Jackson, again, I want to thank you for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Jackson here, the CEO and founder of Ampro Construction.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
And we're about to wrap things up. That is all.
Thank you.